The Tata Jagriti Yatra aims to promote enterprise-led development by galvanizing young minds. The Yatra is over 9,000 km train journey that puts 20 to 25 years old in direct contact with social entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs who have created a significant impact in their community. Through the personal stories of these role models, Yatra intends to inspire the next generation to take up enterprise early in their career. It all started from Mumbai. 5 minutes ago, we all were strangers, but not anymore. We started with a dream, a vision shared by Mr. R. Gopal Krishnan, the Executive Director of Tata Sons. He shared a dream of having 20% of the corporates, 20% of the bureaucrats and 20% of the politicians of this country from Tata Jagriti Yatra. We share his dream, we share his vision, even today, even now. Our first role model was Dabbawalas from Mumbai. Dabbawalas make 4 lakh transactions every single day with only one error in 1.6 million transactions. They are Six Sigma and ISO 9001 certified. What Manish Tripathi taught us was that it's better to be master of one trade rather than jack of all. If there is commitment, then qualification can be built. Our second stop was Trivandrum in Kerala. We visited International Institute of Social Entrepreneurs, founded by Paul and Sabriye. We had an opportunity to listen to a speech by leadership trainer Sabriye, and that was the most inspiring speech I have ever heard.
And now I want to tell you a small example of one of our blind boys, Kumi, 9 years old back then. He was sitting in the courtyard and he was smiling from ear to ear. Not that I saw it, but I could feel the radiance. And Paul saw this little boy too, and he said, "Kumi, what's up?" And Kumi said, "I'm so happy." And you can feel it, you could really feel it. This boy was happy. And then we said, "Why?" Paul always asked, "Why?" Because they have to think. And the first thing they learn in our center in Tibet is, the first word they learn is because. And he started off, because. But then he started to think. And he became very serious. And he said, "I'm happy because I am blind." So, for a lot of sighted people, this is very weird. How can you be happy because you're blind? How can blindness be the reason for happiness? But this boy, he could tell you, "I'm the only one in my family that can read and write. I'm the only one in my village that can speak 3 languages fluently, Tibetan, Chinese and English."
In IISc, we also interacted with Mr. G. Vijay Raghavan, founder of Technopark, India's first IT park. I quote him, he said, "There is nothing wrong in learning something from the people you may not like. And don't ever bother if someone else tries to get the credit for your job. You will ultimately get the credit." Our next stop was Kanyakumari, and there we had a panel discussion on the topic Women and Enterprise, Strategies, Role Model and Success Stories. And the panelists were Madhura Chhatrapati from Awake and Ascent, Sahin Mistry from Teach for India and Chetna Gala Sinha from Mandesi. Our next stop was Madurai, the temple city of India, and we were here to visit Arvind Eye Care, the brainchild of Dr. G. Venkataswamy, popularly known as Dr. V. We had heard this before and we experienced it here, that there is no right time to start working for the cause that you are passionate about. Like Dr. V started for his passion at the age of 60 to eliminate needless blindness. Next in Madurai was Aparajita Foundation. Their excellence in value and service was discovered by us through an excellent exercise conducted on how to teach values through visual aids. The next day we reached Kutumbakam, a modern village in Chennai. Mr. R. Elango, a chemical engineer, left his comfortable job of scientist at Central Electrochemical Research Institute in 1994. Inspired by Gandhiji's writing, he returned back to his native village, Kutumbakam, and he created a self-supporting rural economy. And he was elected the village Sarpanch. The topic for the second panel discussion of CNBC TV18 was enabling rural enterprises. And the debate could not have been better without Mr. Kishore Chawkar, MD Tata Industries, or Mr. R. Elango, leader Kutumbakam village. On the last day of 2009, we were in Bangalore, the Silicon Valley of India. And with us was Mr. Ramji Raghavan, the founder of Agastya International Foundation. Through a program called Science on Wheels, the mobile vans of Agastya Foundation covers the village around the campus to bring learning by experimenting to the children through 200 odd experiments. In the new year, we were introduced to Mrs. Neelam Chibba, founder of Industries Crafts Private Limited. The hybrid model of Mother Earth retail stores supports the livelihood of 3,000 rural artisans by connecting them to the market. Next in the journey came Hyderabad. Nandi, the largest and fastest growing social sector organization, provides midday meal to the school children. In one of the largest kitchen of Asia, we met Leena and Manoj. We interacted with them for hours. If Leena was a great leader who founded Nandi, Manoj, the CEO of Nandi, was truly an excellent manager.
When we had a situation where the youth had to be drawn into doing this, we figured out the next biggest challenge that was facing the country. And this is something a lot of us in Nandi grew up learning in the late 80s. When I think it was popularized by the late Rajiv Gandhi, quoting a planning commission figure. The good news for you is this record data is valid even today. So it stood the test of time for 30 years in India. And the data is that for every single rupee that the government spends for the poor, only 16 paise reaches them. 84 is lost. I still remember just after the recent elections, Mr. Chidambaram was asked this question, that do you have a comment on the 16 paise conundrum? Has it increased? And he went on record on live television explaining that in certain places in India, including his constituency, it has touched 22 paise, but by and large India is around 15 and a half. So we realized this was the problem. The state was continuing to be the single largest service provider for the poor, and its efficiency was at 16%. And that for us was the business model. If you could go across to the state here I mean the governments, and tell them that, hey, just as Mr. Murthy and Mr. Premji has made a complete fascinating business out of outsourcing from the West because it was cheaper to do work through Indian people and better quality, go to the state and say, how about outsourcing your anti-poverty programs to Nandi? We'll reverse the 1684 conundrum. We'll ensure that at least 84 rupees out of every 100 reaches the poor. That was the whole revenue model.
The third panel discussion was held at TCS Deccan Park, Hyderabad. The topic of discussion was funding India's small entrepreneurs. And the panelists were Krishna Tanku from ISB Hyderabad, Nandini Vaidyanathan, a business mentor and a professor, and K. Mohan Rao, State Director of Khadi and Village Industries Commission, Hyderabad.